Melinda, thank you so much for taking the time. For me, it is an absolute honor and a glory to be able to get you on our podcast.
Thank you for
I
having me.
I don't think I've publicly said this.
Uh-oh.
I don't think I've publicly said this. I know I've told you in private, but beyond the shadow of a doubt, okay, you are my absolute favorite council member
Thank
from local
you.
government. You are an absolute
Aw.
superstar. So
Thank
thank
you,
you for
thank you,
being
thank
here
you.
with us today.
I appreciate it.
So there's a very powerful quote,
Okay.
okay, that states, just because you are not interested in politics doesn't mean that politics isn't interested in you.
Okay.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your story and how you got here to be able to be a councilwoman for the city of Hialeah.
Yep. So, and first of all, thank you. Thank you for having me. So I have no political background. I was born in Hialeah, raised in Hialeah, have my whole family in Hialeah, and always kind of watched politics, was
Okay.
interested, but never wanted to kind of be like in it, right? But then when the opportunity came and I started thinking, I realized something that I never had really thought was how important local politics is, right? And so when that opportunity came and I said, you know, I can actually be part of the decision making and kind of the what can help shape Hialeah for my not only for myself but the future, my kids. It was like, you know what, it's go time. So that's kind of what my little background is. But yeah.
I love it. I love it. So not just thinking about yourself, but thinking about future
Right.
generations. And I think
Yeah.
that that's so important because if you look at around, right, the landscape of the country, okay, the American dream is still very much alive and well in the city of Hialeah.
Yeah.
Personally, I like to say that I am the perfect example of what the city of Hialeah can produce. Being born and raised in the city of Hialeah, gone to school in the city of Hialeah, for me, it's a true testament, right? That I am the exact byproduct that the city of Hialeah can produce. If
Absolutely.
you work hard, if you do right by people, if you
Right.
keep your word, but most importantly, keep God as number one.
Yes.
Eh, I've told you that you're my favorite, but do you know why? Do you know why you're my
Our
favorite?
other council members are going to see this? No.
I hope that they do. I hope that they do. I hope that they do. Do you have any idea why you're my favorite?
No, tell me.
Okay, so I believe that the reason why you're my favorite
Okay.
is because you're a very approachable person.
Oh, thank you.
You're very genuine and you listen, you care. You can tell when somebody is hearing you and when somebody's listening. Every time that I've had a conversation with you, you listen, and you don't just
Aw.
listen with your mind, you listen with your heart. And I think that beyond a shadow of a doubt is what gives you the competitive
Oh,
advantage.
thank you.
Let me ask you, do you believe that the city of Hialeah would benefit significantly from electing real people that can offer real results?
Oh, absolutely. So to me, I think the most important thing, right, is hearing out, right, those who are running, those who have the interest in representing their city, and who have genuine care and genuinely want to see the city advance. Not the same old thing, right? But yes, I think what we need is to continue to have good people represent our city, bring in new ideas, and just have the best interest, right? The interest, it's our city. We live here. We're raised here. We're bringing up our families here. We need to make sure it's the city where everybody wants to be part of.
I love it. I love it. Of course. And for me, guys, for me, the center of the universe is Hialeah. 100%. 100%. It's funny that you mentioned that because you mentioned not the same old thing. And I agree with that. Why? Because the city of Hialeah has the title, the city of progress.
Right.
But sometimes I ask myself, what progress is the city doing?
Okay.
Right? So from your opinion, right, somebody from the inside. I'm from the outside,
Okay.
right? I'm simply somebody that does the very best that I can to put Hialeah on the map. But from somebody on the inside, what is some of the current projects that the city is doing to make sure that it maintains that title of the City of Progress? Because progress isn't only once, progress is continued growth into the future.
So I will say that, sometimes we get a little bit of heat as to why so many projects get approved.
Okay.
And what I will say is that there has to be the right balance, right?
Okay.
Again, we have to progress, we have to adapt, we have to innovate. So some of these projects will bring in, right, where we can have entertainment at night, more restaurants, housing for people. So to me, everything is about a balance. And I think we're on the right track, right? If we don't approve all these things, and again, I'm not saying we approve everything,
Of course.
but the good ones that we think will be great for our community, that's progress. So it's just, again, having a balance of everything.
I love it.
Yep.
I love it. I often think, being 31 years old, right? I think that the city of Hialeah is undeniably going to do a very good job in attracting that younger generation by going vertical, right?
Okay.
The older generation may have their opinions about it, and we have to respect their opinion
Absolutely.
because they are the foundational
Yes.
aspect of this community, and we love our older generation. I would also add to that in order to continuously have that growth and that progress, if you stand in the middle, and we've discussed this before, if you stand in the middle of Miami, right, the city of Miami, and you look east, you have Miami Beach. Miami Beach is Miami Beach. If you look west, right, the second largest city, right, Hialeah, it doesn't have that elevation, right? And it's not to say that we're going to turn Hialeah into Brickell, because that's not the demographic. But I think that beyond a shadow of a doubt, if we can have a sense of elevation where we can increase the density in specific areas to be able to attract a younger demographic, right? It'll definitely be beneficial, not to mention the amount of tax revenue that the city will generate from these additional buildings, an entertainment sector, a finance district, whatever the case is, because the truth is that we need to continue to progress.
I do want to add, right? So I don't think we'll ever get to where Miami Beach is, or right, the touristy, because we love that it's homey.
Correct.
It's homey.
Correct.
But sometimes you have to see too, right? Like, where do Hialeah residents go out to eat? Where do they go out to hang out, have a couple drinks? We want to keep them here. So
Correct.
that's why the balance is important, right? That's what we
love
want to
that.
do.
I love that.
That's what
I
we wanna
always say, if the city of Hialeah can accomplish that task
Yep.
of grabbing entertainment and having it in a hub in the city of Hialeah, so that its residents don't have to go to Coral Gables, its residents don't have to go to Miami Lakes, its residents don't have to go to Brickell, then at that point, the growth will be absolutely exponential.
So stay tuned, because things will come. Things are coming. So.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love
Yes.
it. What would you say has been your greatest accomplishment thus far as councilwoman for the city of Hialeah?
So I would say my greatest accomplishment, honestly and genuinely, has been serving the people and connecting with some of the residents. So I've met so many new residents, and just the stories that they teach. Our elderly population has amazing stories. And I don't think I would have ever had that opportunity had I not been in public service. I will say I love that part of it. And also connecting with our youth, our special population. Not sure if you've met our special population, but to me, that has also been another highlight of being involved with them, and just getting to know the programs and helping out in whatever way I can. I truly love that part of being in this role. Just the fact that you can connect and meet people, and just you learn from them. You learn more from them than they learn from you. I love that part of it.
I love it. I love it. It's a true testament to you being genuine and you being somebody that really gets a sense of fulfillment from offering services to the community.
Thank you.
Let me ask you, what is one thing, looking back, right? What is one thing that you wish you knew prior to having started?
Well, and I know this comes with the territory, right? But I think one of the things that I had suspicions on, but didn't know it was going to be this real, was that even though you will do your best, try your best, and have the best intentions in everything, you will still have those out there who will unfortunately speak bad about you or complain, maybe because they have their own agenda. So, at the end of the day, we're human. We have feelings. I think that is probably the one thing that has kind of like, that I didn't really know going into it was going to be that real. But it doesn't matter, if you have the right intentions, you just keep going, because at the end of the day, you're doing a good job.
I love that.
Yep.
I always say the opposition can do their absolute best, but the opposition is going to have a very tough time because we know who we serve. And we
Right.
serve our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And Jesus knows your heart, and he sees your
Right.
heart, and he knows if you're coming from a place of service or if you're not
Right.
coming from a place of service. I often say that God opens doors that no man can close and closes doors that no man can open.
Yep.
So if he puts it in your heart and you act in accordance with the word and you do what he says in your life to serve the public, it is inevitable that you are going to
Absolutely.
succeed.
Very true.
So to that, I would say, keep pushing forward, do the best you can. You're obviously doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
However I can help, obviously,
Thank
you
you.
know that I'm here. Let me ask you, what is one thing that has not been accomplished in the city of Hialeah that the city of Hialeah can certainly benefit from?
Okay, that's a tough one. Just because, again, we're always looking for ways to progress, right? You know what? I would say a lot of the younger generation has left, right? How do we bring them back? How do we keep them here? So, we think of our parents and our grandparents and everybody who grew up in that, and people leave to different cities. It was like, there's not many who stayed. You stayed, I stayed. But how do we keep everybody wanting to be here, right? It could be an affordable issue, which
Apartments
I think,
in Brickell are way more expensive
Well,
than they are in Hialeah.
yeah, you're right. You're right. But that I think is like, how do we keep people here?
The younger generation specifically.
Yeah, because these
Okay.
are growing families. These are families who are going to grow their families here and kind of expand and stuff. I think that's one thing that I've always said. How do we do it? How do we do it? And not to say that it's not in the works, right? Because I don't think I'm the only one who feels that way. But I think that's kind of one thing that I think we would love to work on.
Well, I know that you guys have plans for the Hialeah Master Plan 2050, right?
Great things coming.
Great things
Yep.
coming, and I'm super excited. And we've done quite some content on it because I believe that beyond the shadow of a doubt is going to put Hialeah on a positive trajectory into the future. To your point, right? Like, I'm an entrepreneur, right? And I'm a business owner. So when you're telling me that, immediately my mindset goes to, okay, how can we solve this? And I think that the first aspect that needs to be addressed is the mindset.
Right.
Why? Because you can have everything in physical here, but if you don't have the mindset to back that up, then it's irrelevant.
Yeah, sure.
So I think that the first step would be realigning the mindset and breaking that stigma.
The stigma, the barrier that
the
people
barrier.
have about Hialeah.
Correct.
But at
Correct.
the end of the day, don't people say if you need something, you can find it in Hialeah?
100%.
Hello.
100%.
I actually love that,
Yeah, but it's the truth.
People have asked me before, why haven't you left? Why didn't I said everything I need is in Hialeah. And actually everything is so close by. So I to me, this is a perfect city.
That's it. It's the perfect city, right? But it's breaking the mindset.
Yep, absolutely.
Breaking the limited mindset of oh, you need to go outside of Hialeah to progress, or oh, you need to move to Miami Lakes, or then after Miami Lakes is Coral Gables, and then after Coral Gables it's Fisher Island, whatever the case is.
Right.
We need to establish, right, a mode and a way of thinking that proves true to the residents and the constituents of the city of Hialeah that you don't need to move out
Right.
in order to progress. How do we ensure this? By having social escalation in the city of Hialeah, right? Because the city of Hialeah, somebody comes from Cuba, they can move into an efficiency in 3 months. They met a girlfriend, they move into an apartment. 2 years from that, they get engaged, they have a baby, they're married, then they're buying their first home. The social
Right.
escalation is
Right.
very high. But what we need is not capped at a single family house and then that's it, right? So whether it's, different sectors of the city that are predominantly focused on entertainment, different sectors of the city that are predominantly focused on a financial district, different sectors of the city that offer different housing.
Right.
Because not everybody wants to live in a house.
Absolutely right.
Some people want a luxury lifestyle with a pool and a gym and whatever the case is, a restaurant at the bottom. And that is something that I think that the city will certainly benefit
Yes,
from.
you make a very, very good point. And I did want to mention one other thing in regards to the stigma, right? Like how breaking those barriers is, right? Some people say, especially business owners, right? Oh, I'm going to build my business somewhere and move closer to there. I've never met a business owner who has opened a business in Hialeah, which, by the way, business in Hialeah is booming. You've been to one of the grand openings, right, Lily? But and we're opening doors left and right here. But I've never met a business owner who has a business in Hialeah that has not said that their Hialeah storefront doesn't generate, it generates more revenue than anybody else. Usually the Hialeah storefronts are better or higher producing than any other location. I love that. So why wouldn't you want to,
Even the Taco Bell.
Yes.
The Taco Bell
In the nation.
in the United States of America, the number one Taco Bell was on 49th Street.
Yep. I met a business owner the other day for Cricket Wireless.
Mhm.
They have several, and they said their highest producing stores in the entire nation are all 7 that they have in Hialeah. So they continue to open in Hialeah. So
I
these
love
are
that.
great things.
And
These
these
are
are
great things.
and these are things that I think the public needs to be more
Right.
educated on, right? Because it's very easy, right, for people to criticize from the outside looking
Oh,
in,
right,
and
right.
it takes courageous people to stand up and say, "No, you're wrong," because these are the facts.
Right.
These are the
right.
facts.
And facts, right? I know we've done traffic studies before,
Mhm.
right? So a reputation that Hialeah has is that the traffic, and you can't get anywhere if you go down 49th Street. That's not true. Traffic studies have showed that actually Hialeah has a lot better traffic flow than some other cities, right? Not to name other cities, but when people say that, I'm like, actually, that's not true.
Actually,
You
it's
know?
not true. It's a stigma that you have in your mind, which
Yes.
we're going to break that limiting
Yes,
belief.
we're
100%.
changing that. We're changing that.
What I always tell people when they bring up the traffic aspect of Hialeah, I say, listen, the residents of Hialeah know how to get to their
Yes.
destination as quickly and as efficiently as possible.
It's true.
You don't have to like it, but just because you don't like it doesn't make it not a fact.
You're absolutely right.
So it's
That's
the truth.
true.
It's the truth. Another thing, right? Because this is an issue that I hold dear,
Okay.
okay? There is a lot of trash in the street, okay?
Okay.
A lot of trash in the street. There's been instances where I'm driving, right? And you have somebody lower their window and throw out a McDonald's bag, okay?
Yeah.
That, to me, in my humble opinion, we should have a zero tolerance for. Why? Because it's very easy for the residents of the city to not take pride in their city if they're watching their surroundings
Right.
and other residents treat the city like a dump.
Yeah.
Okay? On the contrary, if we take an initiative to clean the city, and not just clean it once, but make sure that it stays clean and pristine is the line that we're going with. It
Okay,
rhymes.
okay.
Clean and pristine.
Got it. Like
If
it.
we take the initiative to clean the city and maintain it clean, it is undeniably and unequivocally going to help mold and change that mindset so that the residents of the city do take pride in their city and say, hey, look, we're keeping Hialeah beautiful. We're doing a good job. And what ends up happening is that trickles down into everything.
Right.
The morale of the resident will be raised. Okay. We're a product of our environment.
Yes, yes,
okay?
we are.
If our environment is clean and pristine, it's paving the way for the younger generation to build on top of that. Property evaluations are going to go up. Okay. Business is undeniably going to skyrocket more. And it'll trickle down into everything. What do you feel that we can do, okay, as a city, okay, as city leaders,
Right.
okay, to ensure that we can change that mindset and change that perspective and take actionable steps to ensure that into the future, Hialeah can be clean and pristine?
You know, it's funny that you bring that up because I feel like that's a hot topic, right?
Okay.
That definitely has to be addressed. We definitely have, I mean, we have laws in place, right? So a resident, you know, even if on the swale side, something, you know, if there's trash there, it is the resident's responsibility to pick that up. But let's talk about, you know, the streets, right? If anything is on the streets, we recently talked to our different departments on how we can get an initiative going where we can get residents to kind of dial into the city, or whether it's through an app or through our website, to kind of let us know about trash. But it's also on the resident part, right? Like, or just everybody coming together to clean up. I know we've done different cleanups with different organizations, but I think it has to be widespread, right? A community all coming together, cleaning Hialeah, and sticking to it, right? You know, we've had different complaints on different parks, right? Where you walk around and what we did is we put trash cans there, right? Believe it or not, sometimes you'll have a trash can there and you'll have trash right under the trash, right? I mean, that's kind of like, right? Shame on the person. So I think we have to change people's mindset is there's a trash can, put it in the trash, and hold people accountable, right? Because I
Correct.
think once a little bit of tough love will make people change their habits. But absolutely, I mean, we need to keep Hialeah beautiful. It's our city. We
Of
live here,
course.
you know? And I don't think, you know, many of us would, somebody like you or somebody like me who this is important to, it's not like you're going to go down Coral Gables and throw something out.
Dios me libre.
So,
Dios me libre.
but I think it's very important that we change the mindset of people, and hold people accountable to that.
So, from the private sector, I own an acquisitions company and I run a private equity fund. Whenever we're buying assets, right? Let's say we buy a single family house in East Hialeah that the resident was paying $1,000 in annual taxes, right? When we modernize this home, okay, and put it back to the market and sell it, right?
Now the road.
Do you know what ends up happening to taxes? That home is no longer paying $1,000 in
Right.
taxes, it's paying $6,000 in taxes on an annual basis. You do that, okay? You do that 10 just 10
Right.
just 10 times.
Right.
That's an additional $60,000 in annual revenue for the city. So I think in coming together and symbiotically creating a relationship where it's, hey, yo te ayudo a ti,
Right.
usted me ayuda a mí, and we can grow this thing out, we'll become unstoppable.
No, and that, you know, and those higher revenues for the city also help pay for police and fire, safety, which is so important for our community. So absolutely, yes.
100%. I know that there was an
So
independent.
keep doing what you're doing.
I love it. I love it. Touching up on safety, huge shout out to the strong men and women of the city of Hialeah that ensure the safety of the city of Hialeah.
Yep.
Okay, the police department, the fire department, they do a phenomenal job. Very hardworking folks, and we take our hat off to these individuals. I know that there was an independent study done last year where Hialeah was named the second safest city
Yes.
in all of Miami-Dade County.
Yes.
Isn't that amazing?
That is awesome. It is very prideful. We take a lot of pride in that. But Chief Fuentes and the entire staff has done an amazing job.
Yeah,
Very, very proud of that.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
those
awesome. I
are-
love it. Huge shout out to Chief of Police Jorge Fuentes.
Yes.
I want to turn it over to you. Is there a question or anything that you want to ask me before we go? Anything. Nothing's off the table.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
listen, I'm an open book.
You are.
I'm an open book, and I think that you've uncovered that in conversation.
Okay.
I don't hold anything back. I always do the very best that I can to be upfront and direct, because I always say that as a man, the only time that men lie is when they're afraid.
Okay.
And there is nothing to be afraid of.
Okay. I love it.
So what is it? What's the question?
So let's see. A good question. Maybe, you know what? Something I would want to know, and something probably your followers would want to know,
Okay.
is what are your thoughts on politics and the possibility, or what's your interest in politics, in local politics?
So my interest in local politics is ensuring that the future generations of this great city are offered the same opportunities to live out the American dream the same way that I have. Okay, I was born and raised in the city of Hialeah. I went to school in the city of Hialeah. Okay, MDC, Miami-Dade College, Hialeah campus. That's where I went.
Me too.
Okay?
Me too.
So it's one of those things where now, right, going out into the world, making something of myself, not through me, but through my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, I feel that I have a fiduciary responsibility to the city that allowed for me to flourish the way that I have, to give back to the city, to ensure that the next generation, okay, has the same exact opportunities that I was granted, having lived and being raised in the city of Hialeah. I was born in the city of Hialeah, but more than just born in the city of Hialeah, I was raised by my grandparents from when I was 3 months old till I was 8, okay? And my grandparents taught me things that we don't see in today's society anymore, okay? Morals, integrity, respect, love, but most importantly, honesty, right? So that is the interest that I take in local politics. Now, I will tell you, Melinda, because you and I are friends, I am not a politician.
Right.
I don't fit the mold of a politician, because a politician tells you what they feel you want to hear. I'm not that. Even to all of my business partners, I am the friend that tells you what you need to hear exactly when you need to hear it, so that we can progress forward with no hard feelings.
Right.
Right?
But I will tell you,
Tell
I
me.
am considered a politician, and I feel right, like we don't want that stigma either. Maybe not everybody, but you know, I feel like at the end of the day, it's not about what you want to hear, but sometimes people have to, you know, hear a little bit of tough love.
Of course,
you know?
of course.
So that stigma too has to go away for politicians. But I get it.
But
I get it.
The thing is that when I talk to you, I feel that I can share anything with you. Like, for real.
I appreciate
Like,
that.
I feel that we have that relationship where I can be, you know, I can tell you, hey, Melinda, like, and it be coming from a place of love, and coming from a place of service, and coming from a place of growth.
Yeah.
So,
well, I appreciate that, and I will tell you, you know, our role in council, one is to hear our residents, but I genuinely do love to hear everybody's, you know, whether it's one side or the other, because when I'm up there making a decision, I'm making the best decision that is for all the residents, right? So that's why it's important to have that trait, to listen to people.
100%. And you do that very well.
Oh, thank
So
you.
thank
I
you.
try.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, there you have it. Melinda de la Vega. She's
Thank
an
you.
absolute superstar. If I can help, contribute, or support in any way, shape, or form, sin pena, you have a loyal follower in me, 100%.
Thank you. I appreciate it.